Do you have less than perfect credit? Do you feel like your credit score is preventing you from purchasing a home? If so, then you want to stay tuned for this episode because we're going to talk about how you can buy a home with less than perfect credit.
Time to Talk Tuesday, where your local real estate team, the Newton Group, discusses the Midlands area real estate market and common issues, providing quick solutions, creative ideas, as well as tips for investors, home buyers, and homeowners.
So I'm back. It's me, your local realtor with the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, and thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. We're talking about credit and how those with lower credit scores can still attain the dream of home ownership. But before we dive into this fabulous information, please remember you can catch all of our video content on our YouTube channel at the Newton Group. There you'll find all of our Time to Talks, our market stats, and so much other video content made just for you, the consumer, the public. Also, connect with us. Hit that bell, subscribe, like the video. That way you get notified anytime we release new video content. And then you can also interact with us so that way we can discuss or cover a topic that you desire. So that's how this topic came about. Is we were talking to someone, they said, I have less than perfect credit. Can I still buy a home? The answer is yes. And we're going to talk about how you can do that. So let's dive right in. So as we know, a good credit score is considered 700 and up. And especially coming out of the pandemic, it was challenging for a lot of people. A lot of people's credit score took a hit. And a lot of people also realized the benefits of owning a home during that time. You know, right now the rental market is crazy. We've seen rent prices continue to increase. Home prices as well. But if you have a mortgage, that mortgage is staying the same every month. You can count on it. For 30 years, if you get a fixed rate mortgage, for 30 years, you'll be paying the same thing regardless of inflation. So a lot of people are starting to see the benefits of buying a home. But as mentioned, they may not have 700 or above credit score. Well, is it still possible to buy a home? It is. There are many programs that work with those who don't have perfect credit. So right now, what score is required? That's the biggest question we get. You can buy a house with a 580 credit score. That doesn't mean that it's always recommended, but you can buy a house with a 580 credit score. Now, oftentimes you may need a higher down payment. Oftentimes you may need a co-signer or a co-borrower. You may have a higher interest rate. So it's going to cost you for that lower credit score, but you can buy a house with a 580 credit score. Now, you may not get approved for as much as you would like. So that may be a challenge. But once again, you can buy a house with a 580 credit score. Now, keep in mind, a lower credit score can make it less likely that you will qualify for the most affordable rates and could even lead to rejection of your mortgage application, says Bruce McClary, spokesman for the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. It is still possible to be approved with a low credit score, but you may have to add a cosigner or reduce the overall amount you plan to borrow. So this is important that you know. So is it out there? Is it possible? Yes. But you have to decide if that's the best decision for you depending on what's going on in your life. Now, there are ways to raise your credit score. So if you apply, a lender should be able to look at your credit score and tell you some areas to focus on. So if maybe you could do something in a 3 to 6 months period that's going to drastically raise your credit score so that you can maybe not need a cosigner or maybe get you approved or get you a higher interest rate, that may be worth it. But if you're going to do something that's only going to raise your score, 5-10 points and you're already ready to go, that may or may not be worth it. And don't forget that you can get a copy of your credit report every 12 months from each credit reporting company. Now, if you don't know, there's 3. There's Equifax, TransUnion, as well as Experian. That's Equifax, TransUnion, as well as Experian. And so it's important that you know that you can get it and you can check for errors. So if you think about buying, it's important. Go ahead and get a credit report. Go ahead and see if there's any errors. I saw one where I had a buyer with the same name and same birth date, and there were some inaccuracies on the credit report. Now, obviously, social security number was different. I think the guy lived in Texas. But yeah, same name, same birthday. So things like that happen. So you want to review your credit report, see if everything's up. Make sure anything on there is yours and that it's accurate. Make sure it has your accurate date of birth, accurate social security number, obviously, accurate address, and these things can help boost your credit. Also, you want to make sure you're paying your things on time. So if you're in the process of trying to buy a home, you want to make sure you're paying your things on time. There are things that you can do to help increase that score, and that's a deeper conversation for another time. If you have that issue, give us a call. We'd love to be able to tell you some of the things that can be done to help increase that score and do it faster. You know, I tell people all the time, our goal isn't just to help you buy a house. Our goal is to help you get ready to buy a house as well. And sometimes that comes with these tips and credit counseling. So that's what we're here for. You know, we're subject matter experts on what you need to do in order to qualify to purchase a home. But the best loan program for low credit scores is going to be a FHA. A 3.5% down payment is required for a FHA loan, but FHA is generally geared towards those with a lower credit score. You know, conventional loan is not. There are some lenders that have a specific loan program that has a lower credit requirement. You also have like state housing that has a lower credit requirement. So there's a lot of options out there. So it's important you talk with us so you know what your options are, because we don't want you paying a rent for that same price. You may be able to purchase home, or maybe even cheaper, or maybe even a little more, but you'll be able to have more space or have the extra bathroom or the extra bedroom that you need, or be zoned for the school that you want. So there's a lot of different benefits that can come from buying a house. But you don't know that you can't buy a house if you don't talk to us. We've had people who think they can't buy a house, they talk to us, and they end up approved the next day. That may or may not be your situation, but you won't know unless you reach out. So give us a call, 803-608-2597. Let's talk about your specific situation. Or just like this video or comment on it so that way we know to reach out to you. Now remember, as always, we can help you whether you're buying here in South Carolina or buying outside of South Carolina as well. And if we at the Newton Group can't help you, then what we can do is connect you with a local, professional, top-rated agent in the area that you're looking to move. So that way we know that you're taken care of. So, can you buy a house with low credit? You can. Is it the best decision? You got to answer that. We're not here to make that decision for you. We're here to help educate you, help advise you so that you can make the best decision for your family. So as always, thank you for watching, and see you later. Your local realtor, Antonio Newton with the Newton Group.
This episode of Time to Talk Tuesday was brought to you by the Newton Group at Coldwell Banker, where nothing works until they do. Look for episodes every Tuesday where the Newton Group discusses home buyer and seller money-saving tips and ideas, along with the Midlands area real estate market conditions. If you would like to reach out to them, they can be reached online and on land at area code 803-608-2597. So until next time, here's wishing you all fair winds, following seas, and gentle tides.